This show is a proud member of the Nerdy Legion Podcast Network. Get more at nerdylegion.com. Enjoy the show.
This is Brightside Home Theater. Happy holidays, home theater nerds. Welcome to the Brightside Home Theater Podcast, the podcast that's all about the sights, the sounds, the scenes, and the people. And this week we have Brett Bjorkquist joining us again from Kaleidescape. And we're going to get into his theater. We're going to get into home theater holiday movies, our favorites, a bunch of tangents. I just hit record and we just went off. So thank you to everybody on Twitter. Thank you to all my patrons over at patreon.com. All the links are in the show notes for all of that stuff, Brett included. Check out the show notes. But let's just jump right into our conversation quickly because we have a blast. So thanks for listening. Enjoy.
Like you said, I'm excited for the next one already too.
Yes, absolutely. I can't wait. Yeah. Yeah, let's just go right into it. I mean, we've been talking off and on since the last time you were on the podcast. And just for anybody, we're just coming into this. Anybody, you guys are listening, Brett's back. Brett from Kaleidescape. and as we've just been chatting, as you heard a little bit of, we were sitting here and he was in here, a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And we talked strictly about the Kaleidescape. Then we hung up and we talked for like another hour and we're like, well, we got to do this again. You wanted to come back and chat and we talked off and on. And last week we were going to do this last week and schedules didn't, it was the time zone. That's what it was, right?
Yeah.
So I said, well, let's get this nailed down and not miscommunicate through text. Let me call you 5 minutes and hour and a half later, I said to my wife, we should have just recorded. We just talked for an hour and a half about scheduling, and we talked all about this. So, Brett, it's awesome to have you back. The listeners have questions, and I just want to chat with you about your theater, about movies in general, holiday movies. We've got a slight little holiday plan, but how have you been?
Doing great, DJ. So thanks for having me back on again. And just like you said, I've been excited to jump back on. I enjoyed it last time. And again, it's a great opportunity. I know we're talking about some, holiday movies and things like that. I know you said you've gotten some, feedback and questions from your viewers. So I'm more than happy to answer those questions. And then, just talk in general, again, it's always fun talking about movies with you. And so, yeah, love the opportunity to.
All right. Well, let's get to these extras, get this Kaleidescape hubbub out of the way. No, I love Kaleidescape. All right. This question I got a bunch. Extras on the DVDs, the Blu-rays, back in the day, the Laserdisc, we had extras. Does Kaleidescape come with those? Do we get all this? Is it all the same stuff that you'd get on a Blu-ray?
Yeah. So typically, let's say it's the same stuff, as a general. As you've seen in a lot of times, DJ, even sometimes now the 4K disc may not have as many extras as the Blu-ray did, right?
Right.
And so, what we do is when you buy a movie, so let's say you buy the 4K version of a movie, right? No Time to Die, that didn't have a Blu-ray version. So, let's say something older like Indiana Jones, right? And so there was a disc, there was, like you said, there's been 10 different versions of this thing. But whenever you buy, so if you buy the 4K version today, you actually get free access to every version below that. And there's a couple reasons for that. So, you buy the 4K version, technically you can download the Blu-ray version too. And so you're going to get any of those extras that were on the Blu-ray, that were on the 4K. If the DVD had something that wasn't in the Blu-ray, that's less likely. You're going to get all those extras in there. So definitely you're going to get everything that you'd be getting if you were ordering it on a disc. But the other benefit of it is that you'll see two different situations. You may have, and sometimes the home theater room may have the lower quality because you have a bigger, older projector, right? More expensive to replace. So
Yeah.
you may be using a 1080p projector, but you may have a 4K panel, sitting in a bedroom or sitting in another room. So you could actually have a HDR version of the movie and the Blu-ray version of the movie so that both could play. And so you can download both. We don't ever charge, more for both versions of it. So what I always recommend, I had a chat, maybe about probably 2 months ago now, with a guy who still had a 1080p projector. So, he was looking and trying to figure out what to buy. And so what I told him is, even though in your head, you're like, hey, I should be buying Blu-ray movies because I've got a 1080p projector, I told him buy 4K movies because usually it's within a couple dollars of each other. There's not a whole lot of difference.
Right. Yeah.
And you buy the 4K now, you can't use the HDR version because your projector won't do it. However, you can download the Blu-ray today, watch that on your 1080p projector. And then when you get to the point where you're ready to upgrade to a 4K projector or a panel or what have you, now you just download the 4K version and you're done. It didn't cost you any upgrade fees. It didn't cost you anything else. So absolutely, I always say buy the highest quality because in that way you always get the free ones moving downwards. And if you had the Blu-ray, like we talked about last time, we have our disc to digital program. So, in a situation like mine where, Lord of the Rings or Indiana Jones, where, I've got them back on DVD, it only cost me $10 to be able to upgrade that to 4K HDR. And then we give you in those cases, like Lord of the Rings, we had the theatrical cut and the extended cut. Both were available for the same price. So you don't have to pick, which one you want. You get both of them. So, we offer a lot of values in there. So, you're not picking like a lot of people, do I want the theatrical or the extended? And you're not worried about, I bought this, but then this movie the 4K didn't have the extras. Do I still need to use my Blu-ray discs? No, we're going to have both versions in there. And you, of course, get all the options and the extras because, again, some people just love watching the movie and they're done. Other people love to see the behind the scenes. And, and we've got some things in there, where we'll get things like the Eternals and stuff like that as they've been coming out. We're getting some exclusive scenes and things like that. So, again,
little perks.
Little perks in there, as we're working with the studios and everything else. We're getting some of those opportunities and we're seeing more and more of those, I think, especially as movies get released quicker. They're finding those additional values, especially as people are buying, or renting PVOD and things like that.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. So it actually sounds, I haven't experienced the interface yet, but from what I understand from everybody that I know, it's very slick, very easy to manipulate. Sounds like it's even easier to get to your extras than it would be, on a DVD, or a Blu-ray, you've got to, all right, slide over to specials, then you got to scroll through depending on what player you have, how fast it is, blah, blah. I got to imagine on the Kaleidescape, it's a lot faster, a lot more intuitive to get to your specials, your extras, audio commentaries and stuff like that, right? You got it. So it's super easy to be able to jump into any of those, any of those pieces. And then again, same things. We've got those favorite scenes, that a lot of people like. So, again, being able to jump directly into those scenes. Yeah. For a lot of people, it's like, hey, I don't have time to watch the full movie, but I just want to see that action scene again. That's the fun stuff in there. So. Do I have to put this on hold right now and get my credit card? Again, you keep going to that part. So DJ said this is the best thing. So I'm on and I had a few people last time after I spoke to you and I had a gentleman that I spoke to like a week afterwards and he goes, did you just do this podcast the other day? Because he recognized my voice. I was chatting with him on the phone and I go, yeah. So I love when I get people that have those questions. That's why I always say, if somebody has a question, hit me up at training@Kaleidescape and I'm happy to, to answer them. Yeah. But I was doing a different show, had to happen. That's okay. You got to get the word out, That's right. There's plenty of shows. Have them on my show. I'll go on their show. I don't care. There we go. So I was invited on to Audioholics, right? So Great guy. So I'm on there the other night or a few weeks ago, and we're chatting. We're having a great conversation on there, and this is on a Thursday. So on Saturday, I get an email shot to me by a consumer. And he goes, I just wanted to let you know I was watching the record. So he was watching the recording of it, right?
He goes,
Yeah.
I was watching the recording. He goes, I've been looking at Kaleidescape on and off for like 8 years. He goes, I got halfway through the podcast, literally paused and bought a unit. And
There you go.
I love it. I love it. I said, I'm going to have to bring that up to, so I brought that up to the executive team. I'm like, forward up the email. I'm like, this is the cool stuff, but this is what I want, for so many people. It's not about selling the wares. I know you said that last time. You don't really come in and just bring on manufacturers. The idea is like, let's just talk about fun stuff and cool stuff.
People.
And, and we want to be able to make sure no matter what that budget is, we've all spent our hard-earned money on these theater systems, right? And whether it's a media room, a dedicated theater, whether it's 20 grand, 5 grand, or, $250,000. What's important is making sure you're getting the full performance out of those speakers, that projector, that screen, the pre-pro, whatever it is. And you can't do that if you're watching it on lossy, and most of us know that. That's why we don't like to use streamers, although we all know most people are using streamers. But then you also get the convenience side. The reason people are using streamers, some of those people are just like, well, I don't want to deal with the discs, but they would actually like better quality. Right. And so it's just they're taking convenience over quality. Yeah. And, Kaleidescape gives that opportunity to do both. And so that's where, I love when I get people answering, asking questions and stuff like that. And, like I said, I'm pretty good about making sure I always grab the phone, check the email. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me wherever. And that's why I keep getting asked back into the stuff because, again, it's just fun to chat about. So that was kind of a fun one the other day. But just like you said, it's like, hey, pull out that credit card. Let's go.
Oh, I know. It's like I said the first time. I've loved this product since its inception, since I heard about it. I just love that idea of being able to pull it up so quickly, and because that's how I've always lived my life with movies and going back in the day with Laserdisc, and it's like you had to pick which side the scene was on the disc, and then you had to, I want to watch the next scene, flip the disc, or right. hit on the remote, flip the disc. Oh boy. So I mean, to have this, it's great. And then I'll compliment you again to have somebody like yourself that's so passionate. It's just a match made in heaven, for God's sake.
Oh, thank you.
You're killing me.
There we go.
Killing me.
There we go.
Another question. We'll see. We'll save that one for last. TV shows. I answered this question myself, but I figured we'd talk about it because people did ask, can we get TV shows and stuff on the Kaleidescape? And the answer is, I'll let you elaborate, but oh yeah, you can. I went on the website. Holy crap, there's a lot.
Yeah. So there is a lot, and there's becoming more and more. So, obviously, the same thing's true on the concert side. Like people think about us for movies, right? And obviously that's, with more than 13,000 titles in there, a lot of it is movies, and so, but, just like people have been watching a lot of concerts because, it's been hard to find live music in the last year and a half. Same thing with TV shows. So, it's not everything under the sun, but it's all the big ones.
It's more than you'd imagine, though.
Well, and
honestly,
and in the last probably only 2 months, really, we got a huge lift. So back probably 4, 5, 6 months ago, we brought on Heather onto our content team, and so our content team works really hard, working with all the studios, whatever it is, movies, concerts, TV shows. And so, we ended up inking a deal with HBO and Paramount Plus. And those are 2 huge ones because that gives you a ton of new content in there, right? Yeah. And so those are really only, like I said, probably maybe 2 months old. And so it's great content in there, the ability to be able to watch it. I picked up, Game of Thrones, that's where a lot of us were waiting, right? That HBO exclusive content. And so, again, you've got pretty much everything on HBO, you've got everything on Paramount, which, Paramount now is CBS and, and all CBS, these other studios. So there's a lot of content in there. We're continuing to add more. The content team, like I said, is hard at work bringing on new studios. And then also, some people will ask, so like right now with HBO, they've released it to us in HD. Which looks great, and in all of our players, anything that's less than 4K, so, DVD as well, but, let's say HD, we still upconvert those into 4K. So a lot of times our HD is still going to look a lot better than a streaming 4K.
Oh.
You know, if you're watching this on HBO Max, ours is
Yeah.
definitely going to look a lot better. So
Right.
So yeah. So hopefully, like I said, HBO will release that in 4K as we move forward. We're continuing to work
Okay.
with that, but we didn't want to keep waiting. We knew we
Right.
had access to that content, and that's what people were asking for. So like I said, so we've
Okay.
done that, and people have been loving it. Like I said, and myself included. Like I said, I've been picking up quite a few different seasons in HBO. You know, like I said, Game of Thrones, being able to look at the dark scenes, right? You know, we all know, like,
Yeah.
you know, season 8, episode 3, you know, the dark fight, and
Yeah.
everybody
yeah.
always complained. It looks good.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
got no complaints on it. And so I think that's one of those things, that being able to see that true difference in that content that, you know, is readily available on a streamer, and being able to get that on, you know, in full lossless. So being able to get that content, you know, with lossless audio and visually lossless on the video side, is just, it's a great way to do it. And I think we've talked about this before. You know, from our point of view, you know, it's not going to stop. It's not an either or, it's an and. You know, I'm not giving up my
Right.
HBO Max account.
No.
You know, and there's plenty of, you know, especially in this last year, again, WB movies that, you know, that came out, you know, first on HBO Max, and I may watch it there, but it still doesn't sound as good. That's why we're buying it on disc, or you're buying it on Kaleidescape, because we still want it lossless at the end of the day. And so this gives you that
Right.
same opportunity on the TV side, just like you would get on the movie side.
Awesome. The one that, though, I went deep. I looked up, see if you had Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Oh,
Do you remember that one? Have you
Yeah.
seen? That's the Terminator with.
yeah, it was.
Oh, what's her name? She played the Terminator in it. But what's her name? Healy, the one from Game of Thrones. She
Okay,
was
yeah.
Cersei. She plays Sarah Connor
Okay.
in the Sarah Connor Chronicles. So she was in it, and I love that series. But I'm like, if they have this, and you have a ton.
Yeah.
They're like going way back to little shows like that only had
Yeah.
2 seasons. So that was pretty cool, because I have that series. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Let me see what. Oh, the other one. This one was interesting. Customer, yeah. A listener texted me DM me this question, and I forgot about this. I forgot it was even a feature.
Mm-hmm.
So the custom personal open, like, I don't know how else to describe it, but it's like you'd have your, like, welcome to, like, if you'd have one made, or you could design one. I don't know if you remember the discs that they had way back.
Mm-hmm.
It was like $150, and you'd play it before a movie in your house, and
Yeah,
say,
and had your little sizzle reel.
Yeah,
it's got
it
your
was
name
like-
on the theater. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. The exact same thing with a little bit of, it was a 5.1 surround sound with the helicopter coming in. So you got the whole thing, and it had your personal name up there. And he had said that they had done that. And I swear I remember hearing that Kaleidescape used to offer something like that back in the day. Is that possible? Did that go away? Are we misremembering?
So it's yeah, there's a little Mandela effect in there. So I was watching on something the other day, and they were showing all the logos and stuff. So it is there, but it's a little different than what you're thinking. So
Okay.
it's not so we have a capability, and this started with something that dealers would use, or when I do demos with stuff. So
Yeah.
I can create a video that, so let's say an MP4 that I've created. So again, a digital version of what you're talking about, right?
Yep.
And I can what I would call side loading that so I can download that basically onto the Kaleidescape. Now
Mhm.
I can create a script that then starts that. So it's not, we don't have a feature where, like, anytime you play a movie, it would just pop up, because a lot
Not
of times
automatic.
people are like hopping from scene to scene to scene. So they don't want that.
You don't
like,
want that
drawn out
coming in
time.
every time. Right.
You got it. But let's say, DJ's got some people coming over tonight, and, we're going to watch a movie, right? You can create, your own previews, so what you would do in this case is, if you have that video in an MP4 format, you can absolutely load it on your Kaleidescape. That becomes kind of your intro. Here's DJ's theater. And then, like I said, you could take those favorite scenes, and you could even cut a few of those in. So, again, maybe it's like, so let's say it was No Time to Die. Maybe you show a few of the other, maybe it's just even like, you're previously on, when you're watching TV, right? So here's a couple cut scenes from, the earlier Daniel Craig series, from Spectre, from whatever else that kind of catches you up. Yeah. And then you can jump into the movie. So there's a lot of really cool ways that, would probably only take 5 or 10 minutes. But if you just kind of think through it, if you're actually trying to make like, hey, I'm having some people over and we're going to have some fun with this thing, you could absolutely put on your own kind of, video. There's places like Fiverr and stuff like that now that will create those for you for not that much money.
Oh, okay.
And so you can create, they've got, these old little flash scenes and, and whatever you want to do, put your name in there. And then, you could load that up. And then, like I said, do some favorite scenes before, like previews, and you're ready to go for, for the main attraction. So definitely, like I said, it doesn't just autoplay, but it's really easy to be able to set that up and it would only take you. Yeah, you could turn it on very easily when you want to do that specifically.
Cool. Yep. I like the sound of that.
Absolutely.
Creativity in the home theater. Love it.
Hey, we got to enjoy it, right? And we want to show it off and all that kind of stuff. So
it can't always be work like this, Brett.
That's right. It's tough. I need to watch movies, right?
Yeah. Sometimes we got to kick back and enjoy ourselves, not be slaving away like we are right now.
That's right. TJ wants me on. We're going to talk about holiday movies. Darn, I need to watch some holiday movies to catch back up.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I've heard that line from my buddy. Oh, I gotta watch a movie.
I gotta watch another.
What were you gonna do if I didn't tell you to watch a movie?
Watch a movie.
Duh. All right. This is the last question I think I have, because the first one you answered 2 in 1, so nice job there. Dolby Vision. This has been going around. I've had people ask me, but it's a big question that I see popping up. I know you've seen it in all the forums and on Twitter and stuff. And people try to, Kaleidescape doesn't have Dolby Vision. And I'll give you my opinion, what I've said publicly on this podcast and on Twitter and wherever anybody asks me. I'm like, Dolby Vision is a roadmap for HDR for the masses. It's the best roadmap because we have HDR10, HDR10 Plus, and Dolby Vision. And supposedly Dolby Vision, if you have it throughout your, from, software to all the way to display, it's going to give you the best possible roadmap. Most Kaleidescape systems have something above that, believe it or not. They have a system that is better than the Dolby Vision roadmap. So it kind of makes Dolby Vision obsolete. But I've also seen written that Kaleidescape's working on it. So can you expand on that? Or am I even wrong on what I'm thinking about Dolby Vision?
No. I mean, it's one of those things that if you're a fan of Dolby Vision, it's a great platform. It's similar to, if we're talking HDR10 Plus versus DV versus kind of like the Atmos versus DTSX, right? Everybody's got a preference. Both are great. They're both kind of, again, expanding on what you can do. And so, if you really look at the heart of the Kaleidescape, customer for the last 20 years, right? Or the last 18 that we've had product out, obviously a lot of people are putting these into projection-based theaters, and so up until this year, and really still, we're talking like 1 or 2 SKUs, there's never been a Dolby Vision projector, and even if they say they are, can they really get bright enough? Can they accomplish the nit, and everything else that's really needed from it? So obviously for a lot of our client base, it doesn't even come up, which is where it does come up every once in a while when people are looking at it from a speed and feed perspective. And I get that because we're investing a lot of money in our systems. We want to make sure that, we're not getting bypassed just afterwards. Right. So, and as bigger panels come out, I think I was telling you last time. So I just put up last week, I put up I got an 83 A90J. I am loving it. And I'm like 10 foot wall to wall, right? So by the time you sit down and you recline your chair, I'm maybe 9 feet away. So 83 is a perfect size. But obviously that puts me in the realm of, hey, would I want Dolby Vision, right? My panel and my everything in the chain is capable of producing it. But I think that with Kaleidescape, when you start talking about less compression in the video, when you start looking at higher bit rate than even disc, on our average and on our max, when you add it all up together, there is nobody that buys a Kaleidescape that ever says, I really wish they had Dolby Vision. Nobody, and I've asked this question in a lot of the user forums to the people that own the systems, right? And, and the kind of the general answer is, if you're hung up on that one little piece, you don't fully understand everything that Kaleidescape does. Because when you look at everything in there and how great the picture looks, you're not even thinking about Dolby Vision. Because we do have, we are HDR10. We do have, again, great picture quality. We have that HDR capability. And that's oftentimes what's going to make it look great. So, the picture's plenty bright. A lot of times you're sitting there, and I watch people now too, they're doing Dolby Vision, but then they're doing Dolby Vision bright version, because the regular one's too dark, right? Everybody's got their thoughts on how they look at it. So we don't do Dolby Vision now. That is the cut and dry of it. Obviously, as we see panels getting bigger and bigger with 83s, 85s, and 100-inch panels, it is something that the engineering team continues to look at. And I wouldn't be surprised, if it came out into the future. But I guarantee you, for somebody that's putting a Kaleidescape system in their house, Dolby Vision is the last thing on anybody's mind. And if you look at things, again, any review that's come out in the last year from anybody talking about it, you don't see one person really say, other than just maybe commenting on the speed and feed side of it, nobody sits there and says, I wish this picture had Dolby Vision in it. I don't think it looks clean enough. All anybody does is rave about the picture and image and sound. So I will say absolutely, I could see it coming, at some point into the future. But as of right now, I don't think it should be anybody's hang up because, I can respect somebody's want for it. But again, you're not going to notice it. You're not going to have an issue with it. And you're going to love the picture quality, even being an HDR10.
Nice. That's
cool.
That's pretty much what I thought. That's what I was thinking. All right. Before we get to the movies, tell me about your system. You got this big TV now. It's a small room, 10, what'd you say, 10 feet deep?
10 foot wall to wall. Mine is what we would call a media room, right? As much as I love this stuff, I live in California, which means I don't have a whole lot of space. And so, I've been in my house for 20 years. So I was fortunate enough that when we moved in there, the house was a mess. And so, coming from kind of the industry, I wired every square inch of that house. So, I've got miles of cable in there. I've got multiple runs of Cat 6. And at the time, way back then, we're talking component video cable, right? I had component video cable pulled through my walls. And so, so I have, as it stands now, I've got the house is wired for 3 surround systems. So I've got my main family room, my master bedroom, and then my living room, which is wired for surround, but generally I use for 2-channel. And so, the other 2 are there. They're running off an Integra, pre-pro or, AVR at the moment. I've got an old setup because I've been doing it for a while and, the speakers don't, if you buy quality, it lasts. So, I've got some old Niles AT8500s, which were these in walls that, at the time had, nice 8-inch drivers and everything else. So right now I'm in the middle of a makeover of pretty much the whole, everything. So I've got a few things. So in my main room, like I said, I started with with an 83. So I picked up an 83. I'd been playing around with a lot of them, at 10 foot wall to wall. It's tough to get an actual projector in there. I started thinking about, ultra short throws, and there's definitely some great options in there to, put it into a cabinet. But, all my stuff's been clean. I have no equipment. All my equipment sits in a 48 space rack, in a closet. So, it's just a TV on the wall, speakers in the ceiling or on the wall, and that's it. And so, I spaced it out as big as I could get, and that was an 83-inch. And then I put in a brand new, Strong, which is a company from Snap AV, Snap One. So they make this recess box. And what's really cool with it is, these TVs are getting thinner and thinner, right? But then if you want an articulating mount, you end up with like a 3-inch mount to put your 2-inch TV on,
right?
And you're 5 inches off the wall. And so this recessed mount actually has an articulating arm that fits into the wall.
Oh.
So the TV literally fits flush up against the wall, right?
The wall,
it's butted right up against it. And so it's super clean, and especially, on all those Sonys, but the bottom, it's got the processor. So that's like about just under 2 inches deep. And then when you go up to the like middle up, it's just like, it's a couple centimeters thick, for the OLED screen. And so it looks super clean on the wall. And so I love that. And then that lets me put in, I've got a network switch so that I can, it's just like a 1 in 5 out. So little 5 network. So I can get a direct line into my TV, but then also using that direct line coming in for, I've got a Balun in there right now. And then I may upgrade that to a 48 gig HDMI cable. Only because what I'm finding is that as things get faster and faster, like Kaleidescape as an example, we'll run that full 18 gigs. So, if you've got a good solid 18 gig cable, you're fine. Again, not a problem in there. But as things move forward, you got to pay attention to it. And so I
had to, yeah.
Yeah. And so I've got a Smurf tube that runs if I ever need to update it. And so my Balun works great for now. But like I said, that Smurf tube's ready there to, possibly upgrade that cable in there. Just because you don't want it to fail, and again, for a lot of us, especially whether it's a projector or I'm just running cables through the ceiling, you start getting a 50-foot run, and that can be a little bit harder, right? And you need HDR and you're trying to get audio and, trying to find a Balun that will, let's say you're using an app on a TV. I don't, but I use a separate Apple TV box for it, and I've got a Roku and, but, if you're trying to use that and you're trying to use, an eARC coming back, again, a lot of Baluns won't do the eARC, so it'll go one way, but it doesn't do the audio the other way. So, there's times where, like I said, sometimes just getting a better cable is the way to go. And so,
absolutely.
So I've got that in there now on the audio side. So my Niles speakers are coming out. I've got brand new James audios. So they're sitting in the room, but they're so heavy, you have to brace them into the stud. So they're fully backboxed and full metal backbox. So these have 4 tweeters on them. They're amazing speakers from James Loudspeaker. And so, I had been wanting an upgrade for a long time. These are like 32 inches tall. My wife's flipping out because she's like, why do we need bigger speakers? It's loud enough already.
In a 10-foot room.
That's right. In a 10-foot room, right? Hey, when you love this stuff. And so I'm like, it's not about being louder. It's about better quality at a lower volume. Right?
Yep.
So, and she's gracious enough that, she rarely fights about any of it because she knows this is, it's what I do for a living and what I love to do. Right. And so, but like I said, I got the TV in, I was going to try to do both, but by the time you put the recessed panel and all the other stuff and so I got to install those, but those you actually have to cut and they go halfway. So they go stud to stud.
Yeah.
So they fit in one stud, but like I said, you actually have to bracket it and brace it into the stud. So it's a little bit of work, but that's my next project. So we'll run those, and then I've got in ceilings for the rear, and then I'm going to add Atmos in at this point because right now, small room, good speakers, but 5.1. Because that's all that was generally needed. And again, I built the system a while back, so I'm going to take advantage now and put in some Atmos in my ceiling. And then I am looking to see, got to figure out how to find the funds for it, but either an Anthem, an Anthem or a Trinov. So I really, it's tough, man. I'm watching all these systems, right? And we were out at Cedia and we borrowed a Trinov, an Altitude 16, and we had these Meyer audio, sound speakers, and and it's tough, man. When you get to play with amazing stuff, then you want it in your house, right? And I'm sitting there going, my room does not call for a Trinov 16 channel. But
you wouldn't have any walls left. You'd just be all speakers.
That's right. Just speakers all around me. I'm okay with that.
All right, let's get this drywall out of here.
but what's great though is that when you look at the Trinov and the Altitude series, it has the capability of doing so much calibration, and the microphone that they use has 4 mics on it. I mean, it's absolutely nuts. And so, my thing is, because my room is not a dedicated room, but I expect good quality out of it, right? And especially if somebody's coming in to check it out, I got to show off my system like everybody else. And so having in a big open room where my media family room is connected to my kitchen and is open, actually being able to calibrate and having a better calibration system can actually do a lot of good, and that's where Trinov and stuff like that works well.
Yeah.
But so, like I said, otherwise, I've been looking at the Anthem stuff. They make great quality product as well. And, again, probably fits a little bit closer into, what you would normally do in a room that size and of that quality. But like I said, I got to play around and see. So we'll, mess around with them, see what I can get done. But either an Anthem or a Trinov will end up going in there. And then I got to figure out corresponding amps to go along with it as well. So, like I said, it's a work in progress, but I love it, so, and then I've got Lutron lighting in there. In the past, as I used to be at Logitech, so I was a Harmony guy. And then, I'm finally getting ready as, unfortunately they're not really making the products and, and everything else. They are supporting them still, but, I'm getting ready to put in a Control 4 system. And so, like I said, I'll run a C4 system for control. Throughout the house, I've got, in addition to kind of the 3 wired surround systems, I've got 10 zones of discrete audio. So, every room's got speakers in it, my office, the bathroom, like I said, I love getting up in the morning and tap a button and I've got music playing to kind of kickstart my day. And so, like I said, I love having all that in all the different rooms. And then I'm also working on my backyard right now. And I'm putting in, I've got some Sonance outdoor speakers, with I think it's a 12 or 13 inch burial sub. So it
you went with one of those?
Oh yeah, dude. It's got little.
I've never heard one. How are they?
It's crazy. So the thing is when you used to, I have like the old style, Nile speakers and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
8-inch speakers, but they're big and they get hot because if you're standing near the speaker, it's loud. And if you're on the other side of the backyard, not that my backyard's not that big, but like it's harder to hear, right? So you get hot spots. The beauty of a system like this is that you have little satellites, every couple feet.
Right.
So the sound is even without having to be loud. Again, it's about quality, at lower volume. Yeah. And then I've got a spot selected for the sub, and the sub puts out bass. Again, you can hear it. So, again, not trying to piss off all the neighbors, but it gives you well-rounded sound, and again, at a lower volume. So you're not screaming if you happen to be sitting next to the speaker.
Right.
So
yeah, that's, I tried to run something similar, just my own with the cheap little rock speakers, but you put a crap load of them in so that they don't all, you're not just running one so everybody can hear it, but it's spread out. Same idea.
You got it. And same exact.
I think I'm running that off of my, my Sony receiver that I had back in the 90s.
Okay.
And I almost got rid of it. And then I realized that was the receiver I taught my kids how to use a home theater on. And as soon as I started to pull it out of the rack, I was like, I remembered that. And I was like, I can't get rid of
Shed
this.
a tear.
Yeah. I'm like, because I remember my son's little hands, my daughter's they were like 2 years old. And I was teaching them how to load and unload a laser disc properly.
There you go.
And on that receiver. So I was like, I'll let that run the backyard. So,
and stuff like that. Again, whether it's 2-channel or 5-channel or, whatever it's running, that's what it's there for, right? You can't sell that stuff, unfortunately. It's not really worth anything otherwise.
No.
So if you can use it as a secondary zone or you can use it for amplification, by all means, I'm all for, saving what you can where you can. So no, that's great. But yeah, no, man, it's fun to have, the same as obviously, movies and I love all the movie stuff, but, having good music, even if it's background, but, just being able to have, like, I always like having music with me. And I think that's something that a lot more people are doing, especially as you get things like iPhones and the rest. But, as you're getting higher quality, you're getting lossless, streaming now, you're getting all these different benefits. Spotify and Tidal and, and even, Apple Music now and Amazon Music, all have an HD or lossless version. Again, why not enjoy when you can just kind of pick from any, music that you want to?
Yeah.
I think it's great to be able to have, and, I've always got music playing, even in the office here, or when I'm at home. So, like I said, I think it's a blast, but yeah, so that's kind of my setup. Like I said, it is panel
Quite the
based
setup.
So like I said, I have fun with it. It's an older system, at this point, but like I said, brand new TV and stuff, but it was time for me to upgrade. And so, now it's a slow process, cause like everybody else, I got to do it myself, So
that's part of the fun though. That's part of the fun. I enjoy that stuff, and you make mistakes, but that's how you learn.
You got it. And I think there's cool stuff. Obviously I work with a lot of dealers, and, when you get to a certain level, of what you want programmed in and things like that, that's where, even as I look at, a control force system now, I've always said, my Harmony could do 80% of the same stuff, and it can. It's a great product, and obviously a more DIY type product. But I had it, I've got 40 different light loads in my house. It controls all of them. It controls my shades. It does, Harmony did a great job of all that kind of stuff. And so, but when you start looking at some of these larger systems, like I said, it's nice to sometimes have a dealer that, can help you out and put the stuff together and understands how the different products work together. And things like that, and so you're not wasting your entire weekends. I'd rather be watching a movie, right?
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, it's always fun. I think you learn a lot more when you really want to understand it. And chat, whether you're doing it on your own or bringing somebody in. I think it's always important to kind of know the product, what you're buying, why you're buying it, because we work hard for it, no matter what.
Yeah.
We're working hard for that. I got to buy stuff the same way as everybody else.
Right.
And so yeah, but like I said, I love the industry 20 plus years. And, I think we end up, as much as so many people will say, oh, well, you're in the industry, you get some deals, you get this and that. And it does happen, but it's like, I think you end up spending more.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Because like I said, you start testing this stuff and you're like, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Now it's hard to go back to my house and listen to something that's, lower quality. So
it's funny. I was talking to Brent Butterworth a couple of weeks ago, and I asked him, because he was telling me about, like, when he was with Home Theater Magazine, he'd go to all of these houses in Malibu and check out these extravagant home theaters. And I asked him flat out, I was like, doesn't that ruin your own home theater experience? Because you go in and you experience all these things. And he said, no. He said, because most of them aren't as good. He goes, they'll look really nice. They have great setups and great curtains and chairs and all of the niceties. He's like, but a good enthusiast that's been doing it for a little while and is really into it can set up a great 5.1 system that'll rival a lot of them for performance.
Yep.
And that's where it gets into, like, somebody like he's not talking about somebody, you're a professional that did it. And now you could take it even another level from what I could possibly do in a theater. But I get what he's saying. It's like, and he even said, he goes, a lot of these extravagant theaters you'll see in the magazines, he goes, the dealers didn't even want to put them in that way. It's just, they're told, I want that, the person buying it is telling, I want this. Well, that doesn't go with that's what I want. Okay, you're paying. There you go.
Well, and like a lot of it too, it's, who has to make, there's concessions sometimes. And, especially in these big houses, now you've got interior designers, you've got architects, you've got all these people, lobbying for what they want, right? It's not just, the spouse acceptance factor or the whatever else. It's like, there's other people starting to fight, on these lanes too. So, there's obviously some amazing big theaters, but sometimes they're as much about looks as they are about, quality and audio. Whereas, a lot of us, like I said, we're fighting and trying to make it sound great and, spending the time and the effort into it. Again, some of the best theaters I've been in are DIY type things, or, maybe they got a little bit of help here and there, but, they really understood what they were putting in. It wasn't just like, here's the blank check, tell me when it's done. Right. I think that's that's where a lot of times then they don't care as much. I think having somebody who really cares about it, no matter what that budget is, the amount of people, and I started there too. I remember getting my first little energy speakers, in little cubes, and my first Sony receiver, same kind of, 5.1. And, again, you can be super proud of your, $5,000, startup system, because if it's your first system and you built it and, it sounds great, and again, everybody should be proud of what they have as long as they enjoy it and realize that, at the same time, I never hate on a system that's more expensive than mine and better than mine, because that's just that aspiration, right? Give me an opportunity to watch a movie in there, more than happy to do it. Just like cars, just like everything else, right? There's no point in hating on it. Just appreciate the fact that, people are buying that kind of stuff. And a lot of times, in the brands, you'll see that top level piece that you may not be buying, but that technology is moving its way down to the other pieces that you are going to buy. Right. Yeah. And so, like I said, man, it's all fun and all a blast. And, wherever the budget is the place to be at that moment. So.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. Let's get to Christmas movies, holiday movies, if you will. What are you like me? I didn't even ask you this before we came on. I'm like, are you like me? I take December and I take any action movie and that has a Christmas tree in it and I turn it into a Christmas movie. And I do it kind of tongue in cheek on this podcast since I started it.
Sure.
Because I review the movies, but I have been doing that like my whole life. Because when you're watching your movies all year long, and then it comes a time when, all right, I've seen, for instance, my number one action movie was Die Hard in the 80s. It turned into my number one Christmas movie because I just watched it so many times that I was like, all right, I can only watch that at Christmas time because it's basically a Christmas movie. It takes place on New Year's Eve. You can argue with me all you want. I call it a Christmas movie. Yep. But it became a tradition even before my kids were born. Now my kids know that's a tradition. It's as much a tradition as Christmas Vacation, Christmas Story, Scrooged, any of the true Christmas movies, or The Santa Claus, that one too.
There you go.
But those are true Christmas movies, but I could take other movies. I just enjoy them. And it's just a fun time to sit down. And do you do the same thing, or do you have fun with it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think similarly, my daughter's 16. So when she was little, it was all about the kid kind of Christmas movies, Santa movies, right? What's on the Disney Channel. My mother-in-law, I think it's right at Thanksgiving time, like it never leaves the Hallmark Channel.
Yeah.
She's the Christmas purist, right? It's, which always, I still, my daughter and I laugh because it's like the same thing every time. It's like this brunette or this blonde and, she's overworked and she's, all the corporate life. And then she goes to the small town, meets this other guy, and then it all changes, right? It's like the formula is there for Hallmark, man. They know what they're doing. But yeah, there's movies like you mentioned Die Hard, and that's, I think the last multiple years, everybody always loves to have that argument and debate, right? Is it Christmas? Is it not? I say it is, absolutely. Scrooged, Scrooge is one of those movies where it's Christmas, but it's a funny movie, right? I mean, it's not you get into, then there's like Bad Santa, right? Again, it's exactly. Not really a holiday movie, but it's, but it absolutely is, right?
Right.
Or Edward Scissorhands, again, those are movies that I've watched through the years. I don't watch it and I don't watch that one every holiday, but you come in there and, again, I always remember him, chopping up the ice, and you see the snow coming down, right? Because they're in this kind of like, LA type city where, there's no snow, there's no nothing.
Right.
And those are the fun kind of pieces to that, or, Lethal Weapon, right? That was always,
yes,
that's one of those. I'm surprised nobody ever chats about that in the same vein as Die Hard. because it's still the same thing. Do you?
Yeah, I think my first year I did that as one of the reviews on my podcast. I said Lethal Weapon. There's another one I wanted to see if you hit that one, but Lethal Weapon is definitely he's buying Christmas trees at the beginning of the movie.
Like, the only
they go through the window into his Christmas tree at the end of the movie.
You got it, right? They're fighting. They knock over the lit tree out in the front, and I'm like, the only thing they could have done in the beginning scene, like you said, they're in the Christmas lot. The only thing they could have done was explode the Coke.
Yeah, exactly.
And have it rain
and
down
have it
like
come
snow.
down like snow.
So but yeah, it's like you get in there. There's like reindeer games. There's again, there's just so many movies. And then you get like they did Bad Moms and they did Bad Mom Christmas. There's there's a ton of great movies in there. Gremlins, again, classic, sits right in there at that time, right? Yeah. Batman Returns. What did they got?
I did that one last year.
Did you? Yep. So
that movie actually blew me away. Watching that, I believe, did I watch that in 4K? Is that in 4K?
Yeah, it's in 4K.
Okay, so I watched that one in 4K. It is amazing. It looks so good.
Yes. They did
especially
a really
her
good job.
leather. And I mean, I'm not saying because it's Michelle Pfeiffer all dressed in leather, but the way that shines and the way that pops off the screen, the entire movie, I raved about it. That was one of the movies I did last year. And I did it because I knew it was a Christmas time movie, right? And I was like, all right, let's do another action movie like that. But then I was really taken with it because it was, I liked the movie anyways, but the transfer is so good.
Sure. Yeah, no, they do a great job on that. But yeah, LA Confidential, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I mean, there's so many cool movies that are, again, when you're watching them, you may not even notice. It's easy to not, like, when I think back on the movie, I don't think about Christmas.
Yeah.
But when you're watching it and you're like, oh yeah. So we actually have, in the Kaleidescape group, we have all these collections, right? So we make, and our content team goes through all that kind of stuff. And like I said, they're always passionate. So we actually have a, what is it? It's the Kaleidescape naughty list.
Oh God.
And so it's all movies, again, they're all, rated R, but it's, but they're all movies that, just like you're talking about, just like we're chatting about on here, they're Christmas, but they're not. They're right. It's all movies that aren't your the goody two shoes. We have the general like Santa Claus is coming to town and and White Christmas and we've got all those and those sit in the Christmas collection. But the naughty list one are like the Die Hards and and the Lethal Weapons and all that. So like I said, it's not just me. It's definitely other guys here too. But I think those ones are fun. And again, and it's. I've never, you get into the old stuff, like the old reindeer ones and, where it's all the animatronics or
Rudolph,
stop motion and
stop motion.
And they're fun they're fun every once in a while. I don't like watching those every year. I got to be honest. Some of those, they're fun on Christmas Day. It's playing in the background when you got people around, because there's a nostalgia to it. But, I can't watch those all year round. I can't watch those 20 times, whereas, Lethal Weapon, I can, and like you said, sometimes you just kind of, hey, if I'm going to watch it this year, it might as well be during the holiday season when I have a little bit more time at home anyways. But I think it's fun to be able to watch those, slightly more adult movies. And I do in my house. I think we talked about this last time. My wife and my daughter are big Harry Potter fans. I love the whole kind of, the way that they've built out that environment is almost like no other, right? I think we talked about this last time.
We did.
It's same as Star Wars, right? You go, it's like in Disneyland, and here you've got, at Universal, they've done an amazing job. And, that's one of those where every year they kind of have, there's a Christmas scene in there. And so that one was funny. I was reading on something the other day and, it hit in one of my feeds. So they said when they were filming that, and I think it was the first one, they've got like this huge spread of food, right? It's like this big Christmas scene. And it took them 6 days to film that scene.
Oh, man.
And they said the food like just started rotting, right? Because they have all of it there. And I'm like, why would they use real food? Usually they don't. Yeah, but that was the only thing I'm like, are they sure about this? Because I'm just sitting there going, I can imagine that where they're trying to get these shots just right. The food's out there. And I'm sure some of it's real, some of it's not. But yeah, I'm like, I could only imagine 6-day-old food as they're like trying to get the shots. The directors screaming at these little kids, like, just get the scene done right.
Yeah, I know. And they were all so young in the first one too. But yeah, that's so funny.
So, but yeah, no. So, you know, like I said, man, it's a blast. You got to enjoy it. And there's definitely those movies that I think we just associate with the holiday seasons or family coming over or, you know, whatever it is at that time. And I think, you know, again, whatever you celebrate, but, you know, Christmas time and everything else, it's just, you know, it's just a fun time to be able to watch it.
Yeah. And like you said, that Kaleidescape, I love that name, the naughty list. That list, it's the idea, let's be honest, whoever built the theater, whether man or woman, you're building these theaters. Everything we just went through describing, or you went through describing your theater, your screen, the speakers, everything that you put into it. You don't build these theaters with subwoofers and all of that to, you know, throw on like a love story, or even a comedy. To be honest, you do it so that you can watch stuff blow up.
That's right.
You know what I mean? You want to hear things go boom, right? Or hear great music or something. You do that, but most of it is like, I want that explosion, I want action, I want this. So if you can get a Christmas feel and get all that action. Well, that's where you come up with that naughty list.
No, I love it. I think that's exactly right. Right. And I think that's my point. You know, when you're looking at the stop motion and the rest is like, they're great stories and they're classic and there's a nostalgia to them. But yeah, they're like 2-channel and
literally
you know,
meant
I
to
can
be
watch
watched
it on my TV. Yeah.
TV,
you know,
on a TV.
Yeah.
On a,
you know what?
on a 4x3 TV.
That's
the way we watch it.
Yeah. You know, I got bars on the sides. What's going on?
I said it the other day. I feel funny watching Rudolph and not having like the Almond Joy commercial.
There you go.
Because that's what used to run in between. Almond Joy's got nuts. Mounds brought to you by Peter Paul. You know, and it was like,
there
that's,
you go.
You were as riveted to that as a little kid as you were to the show. I mean, it's candy, for God's sakes.
That's right.
But it's the nostalgia. But in your theater, I don't want to hear an Almond Joy commercial. I want to hear, you know, Riggs blow up a building with his pickup truck pulling the bottom out from under. I think that was part 2, but but either way, you know what I mean. You want action.
Right.
So
Yep. No, it's the same. Yeah, you catch. You know, I always, you know, when you look at those scenes, it's you know, in Die Hard as he flips the lighter, and you know, it's in it's not Logan. It's is it Wolverine? The Wolverine, you know, when he sits there and he comes out of the chopper and, you know, and it's leaking the gas and then he strikes his claw against the ground and, you know, and,
I mean, those on the motorcycle, doesn't he? It's like, it's
going out and he scrapes it and, you know, those are the fun scenes, man. That's why we do it. Like you said, otherwise I just watch it on a TV, you know, if it's just a date night movie, you know, again, it's still fun to have the date night movies on there. And I've got some of the date night movies, you know, on my Kaleidescape, but yeah, you know, that's not where I watch it. You know, I watch it to watch things blow up. I think that's dead on.
Yeah. Speaking of the Die Hard, in Die Hard 2, which I just did last week, it's a Christmas movie, takes place at the airport at Christmas time. His wife's coming in, and that end scene is when he says, "Yippee-ki-yay, MFer," and he lights the fuel, and it catches up to the plane. Here's an interesting one. That you can stream. This is what I did my podcast about. You can stream it in 4K, but the disc isn't out yet. And the 4K stream looks fantastic.
Does it?
Compared to the HD disc.
Yeah.
So that was it. That was a lot of fun. I wasn't expecting to run into that, but that was a lot of fun.
Well, I'll have to, you know, I have Die Hard. I have not watched Die Hard 2 on my Kaleidescape. But we do have it in 4K HDR.
On the Kaleidescape?
We do. Yep.
Ooh.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
so.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that one out because there, you know, we see that with a lot of titles that they're not getting a 4K disc because they're just not frankly sure how many people are going to buy it. Right. I mean, you know, again, right, wrong, or otherwise, we may not feel that way, but you know, we're meeting, you know, consumers. But because they made a digital version of it, that means that there's a 4K version of it, right? And so, you know, we have that capability of going to the studio. So, you know, if there was a digital version, we're often able to get, a 4K version and lossless for it. So, I was just looking it up as you were talking because I know I have it and I've watched Die Hard 1 in 4K.
Yeah, that is out on
but I had to look it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we have it in 4K HDR on, for part 2 as well. So, there we go. There we go.
Get the credit card.
That's right. That's
Oh my God. Yeah, because I rented it on iTunes twice.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I was reviewing it, and it was a couple days later when I watched it, and I back and forth, and then I went to do my review a few days later, and the rental had expired, so I had to rent it again. No big deals, $4. But it looks like they remastered it because the HD version, what I was saying in the podcast is that it looks warmer, a lot redder. The skin tones are a lot warmer, and when you get to some of the redder scenes, I don't know if you remember the scenes on the airplane, for instance, when Holly Gennaro's on the airplane, those are typically a redder scene, especially early on in the movie when the sun's setting. Everything's really washed out red on the HD disc, but on the 4K, everything's way more natural. Looks a lot better. So
I'll have to check it out.
It'll be interesting. Yeah, I'd love to see what the Kaleidescape looks like. I'm hoping it comes out on disc someday, but I'd love to see what that looks like because I know there's limitations to streaming too, but the color looks
looks better. Yeah,
so much better.
And that's the thing. The studios are coming out and they're remastering the stuff, and again, sometimes we can all sit there and say which one looks better and this and that. Even on disc. You'll see the person who says, "Oh, I think the Blu-ray version looked better than the 4K version." Yeah. Usually that's not the case, but like I said,
it's usually a mistake was made. But yeah,
you got it. Yep. And then, but yeah, again, I think they're going to constantly be remastering because obviously more panels are getting put in 4K and bigger panels and things like that. The question is just whether they're going to come out on disc, and that's one of the things that I've always said is, as movie lovers, it's not every once in a while I'll see this in the forum where somebody thinks like Kaleidescape is taking the exclusive on that. So like you can't get Die Hard 2 on disc because we have it on Kaleidescape. And it's like, no. We're just they're not building
out on
the
streaming.
Studios. The manufacturer isn't deciding to put it out on disc, or the studio's not willing to, or no disc manufacturer is willing to build it. But they built it out for streaming, and so then we're able to still get that master file and put it in our system losslessly. Like anything else, we're just trying to get movies out there in the highest quality possible, right? We're going out there, same way as all of us, from a fan perspective, we're saying, hey, when's Avatar coming out? Hey, when's when's The Abyss coming out? We're knocking on that studio's door the same way. Hopefully with, even a little bit more authority in there as a true partner, and saying, hey, we want this. We know if you make a 4K of this, I can sell this, and people are going to want it. And, again, obviously it is nice when we can sit there and say, hey, we have this here and it's not available in another format. But I think as movie lovers, we're just happy to see that content come out in higher quality, because, there's some good movies that are out there that have never gone past the DVD transfer. And it's unfortunate because as you get bigger and bigger, it's tough. You can't really upconvert out of 480p, into 4K. It can look passable. It's this and that. But as you get bigger and bigger, it just, you can't work magic on it. It's still algorithms and everything else. So getting that updated quality, even if it's in HD, but especially as it comes into 4K, is really good for everybody, no matter what format it comes out in. So, even on the streamers, I'm happy because when Amazon gets it, that means we're going to get it. And, so bless Amazon for getting it out there too.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So, yeah.
That's cool. What else? You got any other action movies that you like? Because I got a couple here. One I know you haven't named yet. First Blood.
Oh. Is that now? That's been a while. Is that Chris? I guess
it takes place at Christmas because Teasel falls through the window. Yeah, and he lands like on a Christmas tree. There's a Christmas tree in the lobby. There's Christmas lights up in the street. The whole thing is taking place at like just before Christmas. December months up in the mountains of Washington or Oregon or something like that. And but yeah, it's nitpicky. but I'm
That's
going
right.
with
You
it.
got to find it, but it is. That's right.
And it's a great movie. It's, I mean, that's a classic movie from the 80s, and actually up there, I think, with Rocky, as far as like what Stallone did, especially the story, about the veterans coming back and everything.
Absolutely.
At the time, that was a huge movie. Very, very big movie. And then it kind of got 80s actioned out when we went to Rambo and Rambo 3.
It's
but the
like
first one's a really good movie.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, like you said, that's the same as Rocky. Although I actually liked some of the the later ones and the Creeds. I actually thought Creed was a good one as well. So again, sometimes they ebb and flow. Godfather is like everything else, and so the other one that I always like, and I think you mentioned this the other day, but The Long Kiss Goodnight. Again, anytime you can get there in Gina Davis and in a Santa Claus or Mrs. Claus outfit and with all the other people in there, that's just a fun one as well. So
it is a fun one, and I'll let the listeners know in on this. The reason you and I were talking about it is I was going to do that one. I did it. I watched it, but I just didn't think the transfer was worthy. Good. And the other part is, when was the last time you saw that movie?
Oh, it's been a while.
Watch it again. It doesn't
really
live up.
Yeah, fair enough.
Gina Davis was awesome then, but if you were to watch it now, you know what I kept thinking the whole time, especially when she bleaches her hair?
Yeah.
Should have been played by Charlize Theron.
Yeah, well, I'll agree with that.
Because Gina Davis, other than that role, I mean, she was great in Thelma and Louise.
But she's not an action star.
But that's not her role.
Yes,
and you have a hard time taking her from, Family Ties, love interest of Michael J. Fox to this, and it's like, she's not the action star, and you have a hard time. Like that scene when she goes she tries to hit on Samuel Jackson.
Uh-huh.
And Samuel Jackson, it's the best part of the scene is Samuel Jackson goes, "What are you doing? You're just doing," he gets mad. He goes, "Nope, because I'm looking at the screen going, nope,
Nope, yeah.
But
you're right.
But if that was Charlize Theron,
yes.
You're all in. She's an action star.
Yes.
And she can play the other roles too, though.
Yes, and you're right. And I think that's the thing is that, Gina Davis in that role at the beginning of the movie is perfect, right? She's the soccer mom.
Yeah.
She's the and
right.
it's just that flip
the transition.
that you're like, but you're right. She I watched the other day, not Christmas holiday related, but A League of Their Own was on, right? And I was watching it. I caught it midway through, and but again, that's Gina Davis, right?
She's
that's
awesome.
when you see that, it's that it's that lovable role. It's that this and that, and I think that's the thing is I'm sure that when they cast her, it was like. Yeah, in that beginning, you're looking at it like that's the common Gina Davis role, and then all of a sudden it flips over. The only one that I think did well in that, although she was in some actions but not the same, was like Jamie Lee Curtis, right? Last Action Hero, and so I think she did that role really well. Where again, it comes in, it's not quite action, but kind of flipping that switch between the normal housewife and and then wanting to be the super spy and
right.
But yeah, no, I agree. Charlize Theron is, I mean, she knocks it out every time, right? I mean, it's same as, Scarlett Johansson and there are certain people that are just meant for more of that action role, but I think that what I like with, Charlize in particular is that she's done it for years. She does a lot of her stunts. She does a lot of that stuff. And it doesn't, especially when you go into, because a lot of those movies were older, that she was in from that. So, you still had CGI, but it wasn't quite the way that it is now. Right. And so, I think while that serves as a crutch for some people now, I think she's just always done a good job on that kind of stuff. And so, I agree. She would have been great in that role. And especially in that bleach, once she's bleached in there, I mean, that's dead on,
It looked like her. She kind of did look like her a little bit when she straightened the hair, the bleached hair, but it's like, and it's not really, I don't think it's not a sexist thing or something against Gina Davis. It's just that, like, for instance, I would say the same thing if they cast like Matthew Broderick in like a Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
You'd be like, no, It just doesn't work. He's not that type of a
he's
person.
Ferris Bueller. He's
Ferris Bueller. War Games was his action he needs to get.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like that was it. He ran across the beach. Yeah, you want to play a game? I can type really fast. But it's like, you know what, there's certain people that aren't that can't really transition in both directions. And that's what I found watching that movie and the transfer. I was like, I'm watching it, I'm stamping it out. I'm thinking this scene's pretty good, but it just didn't really grab me. And then it didn't really play as well. So I'm like, how am I going to do a podcast on this without that same passion of like, you gotta see? No, you don't need to see it.
There you go. Well, but
it's a fun one, but you don't need to see it.
Well, but that's what I say is, but now you're going to make me see it anyways.
Yeah.
Because I need to be able to see how it doesn't work. Right. And so
you're welcome.
But that's right. Hey, let's go buy another movie because I probably have it already, but it's
right. I do.
There we go. Can I just borrow that one? But sometimes, again, the bad movies are the good movies too. You got to watch them every once in a while.
Oh, Samuel Jackson's great. She's great. Yeah, no, you watch it another 20
once every 10 years. Exactly right.
I forgot. Oh yeah. Like, this isn't holiday related, but have you seen Conan the Barbarian?
Oh, yeah, I mean,
recently in the last 20 years. It's bad.
I think I watched it maybe a year or two ago. As something was coming up with it. But yes, definitely bad.
It does not play that end scene when the people are all being killed and everything's going. It's just me and my buddy watched it for another podcast, and we were like, what are we gonna do? This was awful, and it was like, but when we were kids. That was like the great. You'd had to stay up late and sneak out to the TV because we were too young to even see the movie. So we didn't care that the special effects. When James Earl Jones's head changes into the snake, you're like, I could have done that better with a piece of clay on my counter in the kitchen.
Yeah,
you're like,
well, and that's the tough part, right? Because we look on these movies that are often nostalgic and were great because we were 10 or because they were just at the time. But you can't help but compare them to the CGI and the effects of today. And that's when you look at it. And, sometimes you can sit there and say, yeah, no, but it's a fan favorite or it's a this or that.
Yeah.
But often they really just don't work. There just comes a point where it's like, and that's where people, and I agree. I still think that, a lot of times, Hollywood is redoing and remaking too much rather than new content. Right. And you'll see that complaint a lot. But sometimes some of these movies, they deserve another remake. It's like, it's just better than it used to be, and so I think sometimes you just sit there and say, hey, if I could do this on today's CGI, and today's effects and this and that, again, I can tell a good story, but then it's, how do I tell it differently? How do I, so you're not just repeating the same canned stuff, but like I said, it's, all those, it's, Krull and, all these old movies that, again, as you watched, were fun in the 80s, but when you look at them today,
they don't hold up.
No. It's always fun though.
Yeah. So I have one other story for you.
Yeah. What's
the Santa Claus. You're a car guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I remember this was back the Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
Yep.
I remember listening to I think it was the audio commentary or one of the extras on the Laserdisc back in the 90s. And do you remember what kind of, here you go, car guy, what kind of car did he drive in that movie?
Ooh, it has been too long. I couldn't tell you. I want to say, but it's probably just thinking of all Christmas movies through the year, but it was probably a little red convertible, but I don't know. No. So what did he drive?
A Ford Taurus SHO. Which was fairly new at the time.
Yeah.
And the one thing that he asked for on that car is it couldn't have stock rims.
Okay.
So he asked them to put custom wheels on it, and he just so happened to have the same custom wheels, 5-spoke wheels that I had on my Chevy Beretta.
Okay.
And when I saw that, because I saw the movie and I saw it in the theater, and I was like, those look like the rims that are on my car. And they don't come on that. Those aren't the rims that come on an SHO.
On a show, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, and then listening on the Laserdisc, he specifically asked for those rims because he's like, no car guy has the rims that the car came with.
Sure.
And I was like, that is so cool. I'm like,
I love that.
I mean, I love the Christmas movie anyways. I saw it in the theater, had a blast with it. My wife and I saw it together. I think we were dating at the time. I can't remember what year it came out. But yeah, and then I heard that on the Laserdisc and I was like, that's incredible. I was like, I thought that was such a fun story. I'm like, I think it was green, but my buddy had a green one. Maybe I'm remembering that. Maybe it was silver in the movie. I don't know. But custom wheels.
It's funny though, because, those are the things that throw you back. Because I mean, I remember when the SHOs were coming out, like said on it's a Taurus. You're not thinking about high performance and this and that, it's
front wheel drive.
It's like, I had an 88 Pontiac Grand Prix that was front wheel drive, and again, when you look at those types of cars that, again, it's a blast if you own it. It's a blast at the time, but definitely, it's I always looked at that, when you get into the older, the classic Malibu, that was a Malibu, right? Mm-hmm. But then when you get into the 80s and the 90s, and you had the upgraded, it was, the Malibu was just a good looking sedan, right? But it had the horsepower behind it. And I think those are the fun things, when you look at it and it's that true sleeper car, right? It's like a 300, when you look at one of those, it's like, it looks like a sedan. It looks like, any old, mom and pop car, CTS, same kind of thing. It's like, oh, it's a Cadillac, but, this thing, outputs a ton.
Well, that's like the Teslas today.
Well,
and don't get me started on that. They all look like these bubbles going down the road. They look like mom and pop sedans, and they get them on the line, and you're like, it left?
That's right.
It's like, right? Unless he beeps at me, you don't even know it left, but it left like Batman. You turn you blink and it's gone.
Well, but then at the same time, how do you tell the difference between, to that same point, a base level Tesla, a 95 and a Plaid, right? I mean, the Plaid is a freaking crazy car. Now, again, you can't take it on a track day because, you're only going to get a hot lap or two on the thing, before the battery dies. But it is absolutely, killer fast. But they all look the same, right? How do I tell the difference between them? Because that's part of the, the car lover's dream is, being able to see those differences, right? It's, as like on the vet side, it's, a Stingray looks great, but you jump in that wide body style, of a Grand Sport or a Z06 or ZR1 or the tail fin on a ZR1, which it's like, again, you look at that.
Oh, the wider body. Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it just looks amazing. Same thing on a Porsche, you get that wider fender style in the rear and, and you sit there on like a ZR1 on the vet side. And if you saw somebody with that spoiler on the back on any other car, you'd be like, oh, they're a poser. Why are you putting this big thing? But when it's on a ZR1, you're like, yeah, no, I get it. You need that.
Yeah, you need that. Otherwise, you're going to be fished. You're all over the place at the higher speeds. Yeah. It's actually functional.
It is, and so, again, not when you're driving 20 miles an hour on the freeway during rush hour, but
no,
but, those cars aren't usually out there. So, it's just, it's fun, man. It's cars, it's movies. There's so many fun hobbies. Somehow I seem to pick the worst, most expensive ones out there. I need me a cheap hobby. I need to like take up walking or,
Yeah. Brett, next time let's do a walking podcast.
That's right.
So what kind of sneakers do you have?
That's right.
Let's go real boring. I go barefoot. How about you?
I got the socks with the little fingers on it.
Hey, I have those.
I'm sure.
I do. I do all the hobbies. I do triathlons. I've done the cycling. I've done them all. So anyways.
I love it. Love it.
Yeah. All right. This has been awesome yet again.
A blast as always, DJ. Yes.
And like I was saying earlier, I can't wait to have you back. I can't wait to have you back because we're gonna next time. I think what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna pick a movie. I'm doing this with a lot of guests now. We're gonna pick a movie that you really like, that I like, or that you really like, and then I'll watch it. I'm gonna give you my notes, and then we're just gonna talk. I'm gonna stamp it out like my scenes. You watch it. We'll talk about it. And then, of course, anything else you want to talk about.
Hey, no, I love it, man. I appreciate being on here, and it's always a blast, and can't wait to come back and talk about some movies. And just like you said, we'll pick 2 or 3 movies, or whatever we want to do, and we can talk about a couple movies. I'm always watching something, so we can definitely take a look at that. And then and yeah, man, at some point we gotta get you taking a look at a Kaleidescape. Like I said, I'd love to get you on there. We'll I'll be sure I will buy your Die Hard 2.
Well, sold.
That's right. Is that all it takes? That's right. I got a free Die Hard 2. There we go.
I got a Die Hard 2. All right. She says okay.
That's right. We're good to go. But yeah, no, man, anything you need. And again, for your listeners, I know we're just having some fun and chatting about movies and stuff like that and answering any questions. But, if anybody does have any questions, I'm always happy to ask or answer anything. So hit up DJ or you're welcome to hit me up at training at Kaleidescape. And I'm more than happy to help anybody, whatever they're looking for, or if you want to talk about control or lighting, anything else in a theater, like I said, I've been doing it for a while. More than happy to, to add my 2 cents in there.
All his links are in the show notes, everybody.
Sweet.
Brett Bjorkquist, thank you very much. Have a great holiday season. Go check out, Die Hard 2. And, have a great time.
Absolutely.
Thanks, buddy.
Have a good one. See ya.
Well, was I wrong? Did we not have a good time? Did you not have a good time? Let me know. He's definitely coming back. So much fun to talk to him. Like I said, that I should have recorded last week when I was talking to him. He's just very passionate about home theater, and you can see that. Loves Kaleidescape, loves product, loves home theater. That's what I want him back for, is just that passion that he brings every time I talk to him about home theater. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. One more week. Next week, we'll be getting to, well, if you don't know, I'll surprise you on Tuesday. Most of you already know what's coming up next Friday. But email me at brightside@gmail.com, or you can tweet at me at brightside.ht, and questions, comments, critiques. Let me know what you think. I'll be back on Tuesday, and we'll talk all about that. Till then, everybody, have a great week, great weekend. Have some fun, do some holiday shopping, but most importantly, don't forget to push play. Then tell me all about it. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you very much for listening. Hey, Fred. This has been a Hey Fred production, with theme music by Jeff Bernhardt and Throne Vault Productions. Ha! I'm still here. Thanks for sticking around, home theater nerds. This is your friendly neighborhood Brightside Home Theater Secret Santa. That's quite the title. What's that acronym? This week, we're giving away. Shh, keep it quiet. This week, we're giving away Godzilla vs. Kong 4K unopened. Just bought an extra one. Haven't opened it yet. But you're going to have to do something. This is a pretty big movie. So what I want you to do is tell me, first one to email me or let me know on Twitter, what did Brett say about the processor that he wants to put in his theater, and how did he justify it? How many microphones does the processor come with to tune the room? I need to know the name of the processor and how many microphones. So it's basically, give me the processor name and a number. There's a number that goes with it. We laughed about it. So I wanted to do a little something here so that you couldn't just jump to the end and find out what the giveaway was. You have to listen to the podcast too. Sorry. But hey, thanks for playing along. Have a great weekend, everybody. Good luck. Godzilla vs. Kong 4K. Thanks a lot.